Sudan's parliamentary group, the Rapid Support Forces, paramilitary, I beg your pardon, the Rapid Support Forces say it is committing to a 24-hour ceasefire to allow safe passage of civilians and humanitarian aid. The pledge follows a conversation with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other friendly nations. More world leaders and top diplomats from across 4 continents have continued to call for an end to the ongoing fighting in Sudan. But we understand that Sudan's army has downplayed claims by its paramilitary RSF rivals that a day-long ceasefire agreement had been reached, calling it mere propaganda. News Central's Aborowa Udushoga reports.
Violence between the army and the paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces in Sudan has entered its 4th day, with both sides claiming to control key sites in Khartoum.
The last few days have been pretty much all of us just staying inside, indoors, and trying to keep our sanity intact. Bombardments usually start around 4 a.m. and they continue on for a few hours, but today they haven't stopped.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he held separate calls with the commanders of the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary in the country.
This morning, I made calls to Generals Burhan and Hamedi, urging them to agree to a 24-hour ceasefire, to allow Sudanese to safely reunite with their families, and to obtain desperately needed relief supplies.
The United Nations has called on the warring parties to immediately cease hostilities, restore calm, and begin a dialogue to resolve the crisis.
The situation has already led to horrendous loss of life, including many civilians. Any further escalation could be devastating for the country and the region. The humanitarian situation in Sudan was already precarious and is now catastrophic.
Where the balance is shifting to, we are calling, of course, on both sides to stop the fighting immediately, to allow access for aid workers, humanitarian aid workers, and to allow evacuations.
We urge the security services to take active steps to reduce tension and ensure the safety of all civilians, UN and other diplomatic personnel, and humanitarian workers. A ceasefire is the only way to resolve outstanding issues, ensure humanitarian access, and resume negotiations to put Sudan on the path toward a political deal.
Some world leaders from across different continents have also joined calls for an immediate end to the hostilities.
من ضمن الاتصالات المكثفه اللي احنا بنعملها هو التاكيد على امن وسلامه عناصرنا اللي موجوده في السودان. العناصر دي كانت موجوده طبقا للبروتوكول بيننا وبين الدوله السودانيه لتدريب مشترك.
More than 1,800 people have been injured, with death toll hitting as high as 185. The fighting broke out after weeks of power struggles between the 2 generals who seized power in a 2021 coup. 15-member council, that is Ghana, Gabon and Mozambique, have also released a joint statement calling for an immediate ceasefire. Aborowa Udushoga reporting for News Central.